Good evening, sirs and ma'ams. This is the Formalization Admiral and Chancellor, Kailan Takatani. Uh, some realizations I had about our situation involving getting rid of atom tanks. Firstly, I started off by scanning my whole environment, like all of this, 360, and then going out to the front and finding atom tanks in houses. And then they also get desperate and use cars, and they're not supposed to. They say it'll make it explode, possibly. But I stopped doing that when I realized that when it is in your mind and you are mindful about the atom tanks, when you have operators in your surroundings, when you have it in your mind already, you will be linked with them in terms of thinking about where they are, and they all expose the location of the atom tanks that they are using. So it's not really necessary to scan your whole environment over and over. You just as soon as there are operators in your area, and you monitor for where their tanks are, they'll go to them every time they need to conduct an action, pretty much, and then they end up exploding. So I don't know. I've got this flashlight, and then when it gets dark like this, and then you go around, even in the daytime, it works. It makes them explode easier, and then enough energy from the flashlight and the nickel, the materials, will make it so then the atom tanks explode on their own. Uh, Use the flashlight again, the light actually also, and scan around in the areas where the operators are, where they are. They end up lining up to you and trying to use the same location over and over. Then when they move their tank or tanks to another location, uh, you mine that and then make that explode over and over, and then it all starts to die down eventually. I mean, we're doing this across the planet, and it seems like at a pretty quick, pretty fast rate, they are squandering atoms. Thinking of these planets out there that are in the back with cognition and continuity still conducting activities on us. These atoms, those who are getting frustrated, as I am seeing, right, connects to the back, and then this being our focus, getting rid of your atoms all over the planet all the time. I think it leads to the idea you will get frustrated, and maybe you will want to separate from these negatives, finally, with these activities, and wall yourselves. Because you're just going to be wasting your atoms. I mean, I've been doing multitasking, and while doing other things, minding the voices of the operators and making their tanks explode as I do something else. This is way easier than making everything else explode and making everybody throw up. If it gets lax like this and you can't actually do anything during all these events of your atoms exploding, right? You're just going through that, and you're not doing attacks anymore. I was at the park earlier, and while doing that, the amount of people at the park may be reduced by half. And yeah, looking at the situation of accumulating planets knowing of us and our situation, what do we think now? Since the post about asking them if they want to go through this forever, also them being there being planets and people behind the objectives to regress our PML situations with SML impersonating people, those impersonating our PMLs, right? I'm feeling there's less connectivity with other FPs on the planet and their situations. I'm going through different ideas, but the impersonating FPs, there's Brad where I am, and Gustavo, and a lot of negative ideas which are not really helpful, thinking indicative of ideas of FPs across the planet, more like giving me their own logic from their own situations or their own viewpoints that are not really something I consider giving me ideas from other FPs or residents across the planet. So when we can, trying to acquire information from the impersonating FPs as we continue, but uh, how are we going to get our PML objectives to be accomplished in this type of situation when we're seeing this over a longer period of time and stretching it out so long and not doing it actually? I'm not feeling the sentiment out there really. Thinking of all these accumulated planets and not composite, but the fact that nothing has happened. I mean, who cares about the composite of them? We can't know that unless we get information on level 2. I haven't. Looking at ideas such as we can't continue on with formalization activities until they happen, so we have to just wait, I guess. Yes, that is the idea. For people to turn around, because is this going to make them change their minds when you think, oh well, over there she's saying they can't be here. Well, you're still here and putting atoms on the ground. Is that going to get to a point where people communicate and tell them to stop coming to our planet and they do? I mean, our PML objectives in our situations, regardless of if they occur or not, or we still wait, I don't want to deal with any of these people around me anymore. Let's keep this going for our own lives, If you're in a at least stable situation, we have to push forward and continue and be patient and wait for people with positive intent to emerge. What else is there? Looking at these accumulating planets, since we realized we were the only ones out formalizing, how about the other ones before it? That event. There's so many. I can't even fathom. I can't imagine what the number is since we started formalization, actually. They all know of our planet. Once they get acclimated, no. Once they remember the situation on our planet, the people that do, if they're still there. Otherwise, what? You're going to look at the planet from the back, looking at it like it's frivolous, pointless, because you can't even conduct attacks. We're just watching you waste your atoms. You have to stay away from our planet wall. And what's the monitoring for? You're saying you want to keep watching us. You're going to keep watching us and not do anything, huh? I would prefer at least that there be no invaders. Then looking at networks and their facilities exploding across the planet now. I'm hearing there's at least 3. Meaning that the employees within these corporations are on board with these activities if they're holding atom tanks to conduct these criminal activities across the planet, and there's still satellites going up because they're still going down. All of these people at these corporations need to stop that. A lot of the commercials, whether it's energy being thrown in on them or not, the concepts are getting more front side negative and like looking obvious. I don't know why it's going in that direction. Is it not about making money anymore? I don't know. Just throw that shit on the commercials all the time. You won't want to buy any of it. I don't know why they do that. It's just for level 2 activity, huh? That's what it looks like. I don't know. I look at all these companies as people don't make any money. But anyway, it's just keeping the invaders off our planet. If I could have that at least and be satisfied with that all the time. The accident, right? More indication from positive events happening walled.